These were crazy scenes that surfaced from an HBCU basketball game recently. Police officers went on the court to apprehend and arrest Tuskegee University head coach Benjy Taylor. Civil rights attorneys have been contacted by the coach and are going to serve as his counsel as more questions loom on why this took place and how this could have potentially all been avoided. Jeff Goodman, a basketball reporter and analyst, would tweet out this video with the following message. Benjy Taylor said that a group of football players from Morehouse had been vocal all game from their seats next to the Tuskegee bench. He went to the end of the handshake line after the game, and some of the football players were behind him in the line. He tried to defuse the situation. He asked a police officer for help to remove said football players. The next thing he knew, he was being handcuffed. He said the cuffs were removed quickly by the police when he left the court. Here's the thing about that. There is a public Dropbox folder that we found, and it appears that is not necessarily the case. The biggest question is this: was all of this really needed? Why did it get to this point? How did it get to this point? Was there something possibly the officers were trying to prove in all this? By the looks of it, and from the reporting, this feels like a very large overreach by local police at the venue. I mean, let's be objective. Look at what they're doing. Look at where they're holding him. What is the deal? None of this had to happen. And especially, as we are going to tell you, with the reputation that this coach has, this was a miss. A really, really big miss. Here's another video that was put in a public Dropbox folder by Michael Wukela of the coach, Benjy Taylor, being escorted out as he is handcuffed, his hands behind his back, by the police. So what is the latest here? HBCU Game Day's Wally Pitt wrote, according to Tuskegee officials, players from Morehouse's football team entered the court and intermingled with the basketball teams. That interaction raised safety concerns during an already tense rivalry environment. In a statement released on Facebook by Tuskegee University, it would read as follows. Tuskegee University and its Department of Intercollegiate Athletics write this letter to express our full and unequivocal support of head men's basketball coach Taylor following the events surrounding the January 31st, 2026 contest between Tuskegee University and Morehouse College. Coach Taylor has consistently demonstrated the highest standards of leadership, professionalism, integrity, and care for student athletes throughout his tenure at Tuskegee University. His actions on that day were rooted in his fundamental responsibility to protect his student athletes and staff, particularly in an environment where agreed upon security measures were not properly executed. At no time did Coach Taylor act in a manner unbecoming of Tuskegee University or the professor of collegiate athletics. Rather, he responded as any responsible head coach would by advocating for the safety, order, and well-being of his team. His commitment to his players, their families, and the institution was evident and consistent with the values of Tuskegee University. We are deeply concerned by the circumstances that led to Coach Taylor being placed in a position where he felt compelled to intervene, and we stand firmly in our belief that no coach should ever be subjected to such a situation for prioritizing student-athlete safety. Tuskegee University remains committed to working collaboratively with the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference and our peer institutions to ensure that proper security protocols are enforced uniformly and consistently at all conference competitions. The safety and dignity of our student athletes, coaches, and staff are non-negotiable. Coach Taylor continues to have the full confidence, trust, and support of the university administrations and the athletic administration. We are proud of his leadership and grateful for his unwavering dedication to our student athletes and the Tuskegee University Committee. Sincerely, Reginald Ruffin, VP for Intercollegiate Athletics and Athletic Director. It's quite simple. Ruffin says Taylor, the head coach, did what he was supposed to do after security measures just floundered overall. From Bro Bible, Benjy Taylor hired legal representation following the bizarre incident at the game against Morehouse on Saturday. Renowned civil rights attorney Harry Daniels will work alongside Gregory Reynold Williams and Gerald Griggs to represent the head coach. From Daniels, it would be bad for a police officer to treat anyone like this, but to do it to a man like Coach Taylor, a highly respected professional and role model, to put him in cuffs, humiliate him, and treat him like a criminal in front of his team, his family, and a gym full of fans is absolutely disgusting, and they need to be held accountable. Coach Taylor's a good man who did the right thing to protect his team and de-escalate a dangerous situation, and this officer put him in chains for his troubles. This is a bad look. This is a very, very, very bad look. When you have so many people, it seems, understanding the weight of the situation, the police, in my view, could have possibly gone in and placed themselves on the sidelines to separate the football players from the opposing team's bench. There are some videos that I saw in that Dropbox folder that makes that point I just stated pretty clear. It's a small gym. They did not have the right security personnel, and all you had were a few cops. And those football players were, I'm talking a few feet from the bench. If a coach sees something wrong, he is always going to protect his players. We talk about how Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart go into the houses of parents who are going to send their kids to go play for these men. And a lot of these parents, if not all of them at some point, will say, will you protect my kid? Will you make sure that nothing happens to them? Will you be their guardian? Will you help them if anything goes sour? And they always say yes. And yet in this instance, when we have a head coach of an HBCU acting what appears to be in the right, he is punished for it. He is detained. In a way, he's perp walked out of the venue. I was going to say stadium. Out of the arena. It's a bad look. And with this lawsuit coming, I'm really curious to see what happens. My guess is that the police report is either going to say nothing happened or they're going to fabricate it. And there will be a settlement. Because it seems pretty obvious that they're not going to have a case. And even if they did, what case would they bring against this coach? Let me take a guess. Disturbing the peace. Some fugazi charge that they'll come up with. They'll realize they cannot justify it. And then, in my view, they're going to settle. Because it appears, in my opinion, open and shut case. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.